Hey everyone, it's Naomi here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about virtual styling, to use or not to use. So you're all ready, your property's nearly ready for market. It's the last leg of your renovation journey and you are so close to finally seeing that pot of gold at the end of all your hard work. But how are you going to present your property to market? Have you figured out exactly what outlets you're going to be using to market the property and whether you'll be paying for home staging? Or are you still tossing all these things up in the air, wondering if any of them will even help maximise your appeal of your property, and will any of them be able to help you get more money without breaking the bank? Well, I'm here today to give you another option for this stage of your renovating journey, and that is called virtual styling. Virtual what? I know. Now, this isn't some sort of like weird sci-fi gimmick, okay? Virtual styling doesn't mean that your house is going to be filled with furniture that's being hologram projected from outer space. I don't even think that technology is there yet. Plus, even though it's a cool idea, you might end up with your potential buyers more interested or freaked out about the technology than the property. And that might be their lasting first impression, which is not the one you're after really. So what is virtual styling? Put really simply, virtual styling is when you're furnishing and beautifying your property on screen or on paper or in a computer, rather than paying for it to be filled with physical furniture and decor. So you can add these things into a photo essentially. I guess it's a little like photoshopping an image, except you're not distorting any walls or any actual elements of the house. So these additions can come in the form of actual photos of furniture that get put in, or images that have been drawn up using computer graphics and software. So you might have seen virtual styling before actually. It's used often in advertising of new developments. So these are properties that aren't even yet in existence, such as off-the-plan apartment blocks. So these new units have never been shown empty ever. Instead, they're always filled with carpets, kitchens, furniture, flowers, you name it. And there's a disclosure at the bottom of all of these that says artist impression of what the final project might look like. So that is what virtual styling would be in your property, except you wouldn't be using it for the actual structure, you'd only be using it for the items that you put in. So when does virtual styling come in handy? I get asked this all the time. So when you're marketing your property, you should always keep the buyer's first impression in mind in every single choice you make. And this first impression begins the moment the potential buyer picks up an agent's flyer or opens up your listing and they start scrolling through. So naturally, having your property virtually staged, so in those images, you're putting your best foot forward at that stage. So the properties that are full of well-styled spaces and furniture, they absolutely look more visually appealing. And they're the ones that stand out. They're the ones that will make the shortlist for inspection. And that's where virtual styling comes in at this stage. Now, because virtual styling doesn't involve physical furniture, it is usually a lot cheaper than home staging. When home staging requires money to either buy or rent the furniture, as well as time and labour to put the furniture in and set it up and take it out. But virtual styling pretty much can be done with a click of a couple of mouse buttons. So it's quick, it's easy, and it's affordable. And it can still create that wow factor for your target market that they're looking at online. So, just make sure that your virtual styling doesn't go overboard and make any of the improvements look too fake or alter the actual structure of the property. You don't want to be giving the wrong impression and make buyers think that you're trying to overcompensate for what's not actually there. So now that I've said all that, now that I've completely pumped up virtual styling, what are the limitations? Oh, I can't even imagine where I'm going to begin here. There are so many limitations to virtual styling because it is exactly as the name says, it is virtual. So let's revisit what is the number one thing that home staging is meant to do when you go into a property. So home staging is meant to showcase the highlight of the property and minimise the distractions, minimise the surprises and create an amazing first impression. So I want you to imagine this. You've shortlisted this property. A lot of the time, virtual staging's so good you can't even tell it's virtually staged. And you're expecting to open up the front doors into this amazing open plan living space that looks absolutely immaculate. And instead, as you walk up to that front door and you open it up, it's empty. Or it doesn't look like what it did in the photos. It's actually full of 1980s furniture. So, having a virtually staged house, yes, it can completely allow you to attract all the buyers, like I just mentioned. Attract the buyers, get shortlisted, get people to the open home, but then what you're doing is you are giving them the biggest letdown of their life. That is not the first impression you want to be leaving them with. That is not the massive distraction you want to be leaving them with. So all in all, there's a whole world of places that virtual styling works, and it's generally in off-the-plan items. From my perspective and my experience and my data and my results, I can tell you nothing affects your sale price more than if you have a property virtually styled, you bring all these buyers all excited all the way to the door, only to let them down. So virtual styling has its place, but it's absolutely not in the world of renovating to create wealth. Thanks for joining me. Did you know I wrote a book all about renovating to create wealth and freedom in your life? I've added the link below in the description for you. Enjoy.